The stars shimmered in the vast, quiet sky, a scene so perfect it felt almost unreal. Beneath their glow, a young man stood alone, clutching his phone tightly as he stared at the contact number he had just dialed. The ringing echoed in his ears, and with every passing second his heartbeat grew louder. Why had he made that call? It wasn't like him to reach out so impulsively. He was the kind of person who meticulously planned every step, calculating risks and outcomes. Yet something about tonight was different, something that pushed him to step beyond his boundaries. And then, she answered. He remembered the first time he saw her as if it were yesterday. It was an ordinary day, nothing extraordinary in the air. Yet, when she appeared, her presence seemed to bend the very fabric of reality. Her radiant smile, her calm yet commanding demeanor, it was as if she had stepped out of a dream and into his life. But what struck him the most wasn't just her beauty, it was the way she looked at him, with an expression that held an unspoken promise, as if she already knew everything about him. Who was she, really? And what did she see in someone like him? Despite the questions swirling in his mind, their connection grew rapidly. She had this way of turning every mundane moment into something magical. Whether they were walking under the stars or sharing a quiet moment over tea, she brought light into his otherwise ordinary life. But her sudden appearance came with an air of mystery. She spoke about life and love with a certainty that left him curious. Why did she always seem to know exactly what to say? And what secrets lay behind her enigmatic smile? As their bond deepened, he couldn't shake the feeling that her past was a puzzle waiting to be solved. She avoided talking about her family, brushing off questions with a laugh and a quick change of subject, but in her quiet moments when she thought no one was looking, her gaze seemed distant, as if haunted by memories she refused to share. And then there was his own past, a lonely existence spent chasing dreams that never seemed within reach. Her sudden entry into his life felt like a reprieve, a chance to escape the weight he had carried for so long. But could two people with so much baggage truly find peace together? One night, as they stood beneath a canopy of stars, she turned to him with an unexpected proposition. Her voice was steady, but her eyes betrayed her vulnerability. "Promise me something," she said. "No matter what happens, you'll trust me." The request was simple, yet it felt heavier than any he had ever heard. Trust her? Of course he did, or at least he thought he did. But what exactly was she asking of him? It wasn't long before cracks began to appear in their seemingly perfect world. A chance encounter with an old friend planted seeds of doubt in his mind. The friend's words were innocent enough, but they hinted at something he couldn't ignore. Are you sure about her? People like that always have something they're hiding. Her mysterious background, her reluctance to talk about certain things, it all began to weigh on him. Was he falling for a dream, or was there more to her story than she was letting on? The tipping point came when she vanished without warning, leaving behind nothing but a cryptic note. It read, "I'll come back when the time is right. Please wait for me." The words were a dagger to his heart. Why would she leave so suddenly? And what did she mean by "the time is right"? The days that followed were an endless cycle of questions with no answers. Yet, in his heart, he clung to the promise he had made. But how long could he wait before doubt consumed him entirely? Weeks later, she returned as abruptly as she had left, her eyes filled with an emotion he couldn't quite place. She sat him down and began to speak, her words unraveling the story she had kept hidden for so long. Her past, her family, the reasons for her disappearance. It was all more complicated than he had imagined. But even as she spoke, he couldn't shake the feeling that there was still more she wasn't telling him. Could he accept her for who she was, even if he never uncovered all her secrets? As their conversation wound down, she turned to him with a question that left him stunned. "What do you want from me?" she asked, her voice soft but unwavering cute. He hesitated, the weight of her question settling on his shoulders. What did he want? A future together? Answers to his lingering questions? Or was it simply her presence in his life that he couldn't bear to lose? Before he could respond, the sound of his phone buzzing interrupted them. He glanced at the screen and froze. It was an urgent call from someone tied to his past, a person he had tried to leave behind but could never quite forget. He looked back at her, her expression a mixture of hope and fear. The choice before him was clear but agonizing. Would he stay with her and take a leap of faith, or would he answer the call and face the ghosts of his past? As he reached for the phone, her hand gently stopped him. Her eyes met his, silently pleading for him to choose her. And in that moment, the world seemed to hold its breath. Thanks for watching.